Self-sufficient means being capable of providing for your own needs. So what is a self-sufficient home? A self-sufficient home, like an off-grid home, does not rely on public services and utilities. They provide their own water, power, and enable the occupants to grow their own food. A self-sufficient home makes its own power, water, and food. This is a typical Thai-built house. It has a dark concrete roof, big windows, and very little protection from the sun. By comparison, my house has a white steel roof, tiny windows, and lots of protection from the sun. The better insulated the house is, the less power it will need. Foam is a good insulator, and so I have used it underneath the house and between each of the floors. Foil has great reflective properties and it prevents heat from entering the house. So I have used foil between the walls of my house and underneath the roof. The walls of my house are made up of 2 blocks, and in between the blocks I have foil and foam, and I use spray foam to fill any gaps. The blocks I have used are aerated blocks, and they contain tiny pockets of air. The roofing material with foam and foil attached. Painting the walls white reflects solar radiation. A wraparound roof prevents sunlight from falling on the walls and windows. I have a fly roof which prevents heat buildup due to the open space underneath it. A thermal imaging camera will show where heat has entered the building. This Thai house clearly has a very hot roof and heat coming through the windows. My bedroom has very small windows which are set up high under the wraparound roof, and a thermal image camera shows that very little heat is coming in. Natural cooling. Hot air rises and can escape at the top of the building. So why are all these doggies lying here by the doorway to the kitchen? Maybe because there's a nice cool breeze. Let's just have a look. Peaking at 2.5 meters per second. So that is air that is being sucked in to the living room and being drawn up and out up into the second floor and then out the top of the building. So this is effectively a chimney effect, and it's called stack effect ventilation. The house provides enough power to run itself and also to charge my electric car and my electric motorbike. Because the house is so efficient with so much insulation, it is possible to run the house completely from the 20 kilowatts of solar panels that I have installed on the roof. Excess power produced during the middle of the day is stored in home batteries for nighttime use. The end result is that no power is drawn from the grid. Water security means making sure that you never run out of water. I'm not on city water, so I have to make my own. This photograph was taken in 2019 at the reservoir near my home. This big water bottling factory near my home draws water from wells which are 400 meters deep. My first plan was to install 86 meters of oversized rain guttering and to collect that rainwater in 22 15,000-litre tanks at the back of my house. The rainwater goes through 2 filtration systems, one for household use and one for drinking. We added a solar thermal water heater that uses the power of the sun to produce hot water. The next thing we did was to dig a big pond at the end of the garden. To keep the water clear, we added a solar aerator which oxygenates the water. I'm currently standing in a rice field near my home in North East Thailand. And rice is a monocrop or monoculture. It's the only thing that's grown here. And you can see from this field, it's obviously very dry. There's been no rain here for the last 7 months. But I just want to look at the soil. And you can see that there is no sign of life. This soil is effectively dead. There's no bugs, there's nothing growing. And so the only way to make this soil productive is by adding fertilizer. The trouble with adding chemical fertilizers to the land is that it's not sustainable. Regenerative agriculture uses organic material from one plant to feed the soil and other plants. We are trying to copy what nature does in a tropical rainforest by creating a food forest. So welcome to North East Thailand, and where I am based we have a rainy season that lasts somewhere between 3 and 6 months per year. So that means that potentially you've got 9 months without any rain, and if you want to grow stuff here you need to provide water. So one of the ways I do that is using a solar powered drip irrigation system. This is something that we've added about a year ago. So we bought a strip of land to join the main piece of land that we built the house on to another piece of land on which we wanted to put the pond. So we had to buy a strip of land, and it's about 8 meters wide. And so we've decided to try and use the space by building some framework. And what have we got growing here?
That one is cucumber. That is one they're climbing up there, making a shade.
Okay, so this is the start of the season for that. And what's this one?
It's a dragon fruit.
Dragon fruit?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we'll just do with this side and then we'll come back. More cucumber.
That one is mangkut. It's a fruit tree, so.
Okay,
Mangkut, yeah.
great. And you can see that at the end of the rainy season, we did a lot of clearing out.
Yeah.
So we cut everything back, and then we're able to start adding some fresh compost and potting mix to the plants to give them a good start.
That one is a long bean.
Long bean.
Yeah, long bean. And this one is passion fruit.
Yeah, so this passion fruit, what's the story with this? Didn't we just find it growing naturally in the garden?
Yeah, that one we bought.
Oh, that one we bought.
From Top.
Okay.
They're very small size.
So it came in a little pot.
Yeah.
And how old is it now? 2 years, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, and we can see we actually have some passion fruit there, but it's towards the end of the season now, isn't it? Okay. Oh, some more on this side, yeah. Yeah. So these are excellent. What we tend to do with those, because we end up with a lot of them, is we put them into ice trays in the freezer, and then we can put them into smoothies. Okay, and here we have lime trees. We have a few lime trees here. Obviously they just started off as just basic little twigs a couple of years ago. Another palm.
That one is coconut.
Oh, that's a coconut tree. Yeah. Okay, coconut tree. Another lime tree. Mango. Lime tree. Another coconut. Another lime tree. And a teak tree.
Mahogany.
Oh, it's mahogany. Yeah, that's right.
We try to do some shade.
Yeah, that's right. A couple more lime trees. And we now come to, is this switched on? I think it needs switching on, this one, so we can see it in operation. It's on already, is it? Okay, so this was the original system that we had. And this is a much smaller solar system. There's 2 panels, 350 watt pump compared to the 750 watt pump we had on the other one, and it only goes down to 30 meters. Just a bit worried about the water situation because we had a big drought in the second year we were here, and the government water basically gave up. So we've worked really hard to try and supplement the soil, and it's we do that by amendments. We don't put any chemicals or anything. It's all organic. So you see, we do a chop and drop. So we cut down some grass, etc., and put that around the plants. We use cow manure. We use burnt rice husks. That's the black. So the rice husks are a byproduct of rice farming, and they're used in a bioelectric plant. So they're burnt to produce electricity. And the burnt rice husks are a byproduct of that process. So it's but they're great for the garden. There's a lot of carbon in them. So we have a vegetable bed over near the pond. You see where those steel bars were, the steel posts. That's a vegetable bed. And we have another one here. And this is lots of tomatoes in here. And pumpkins, and what else have we got?
I just know Thai name. มะเขือเทศ มะเขือยาว มะเขือเปราะ
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to expand this again. We love these concrete pipes because they're open at the bottom.
Yeah.
And we just add the supplements in. You can see here's one that hasn't got anything in it yet. So it's just very easy to grow stuff in the raised beds.
Yeah.
And you can see that we're just starting now. We do this every year. We have cow manure, and we have the burnt rice husks over there, which I'll show you in a second. And this is coconut husks. So this is great stuff. And I've got my 3-bin composting system, which gets a bit taken over during the rainy season, so that all needs cutting back. And this is all a preparation. Is every year what I do is I build a great big container for my potting mix, and this will all be filled with the burnt rice husks. Thank you, Rambo, for mixing it all together. Yeah, so this will be burnt rice husks, this will be cow manure, this will be coconut husks. Maybe we have a chipper as well, so we put some wood chips in that as well. So this will all be filled and all go onto the garden. And these straw bales, we run those, how many a year do we normally buy those? About 300 bales a year. Yeah, and they'll rot down in a year. By the end of the rainy season, they're just gone. It's really worth looking to see what the soil looks like when you've actually got some amendments on it. If you remember, we looked at the dry dirt. I forgot to show you. Just go back to have a little look. In this section here, it's very obvious what the soil looks like by comparison, because there's a lot of activity going on in this zone here. So the Thais would call this din dam, black soil, and it's just, that's all rotted down organic material, and that's what we want to do in the garden. We want to be able to create our own soil, not use any chemicals, and just end up with a productive garden.